Manx Radio Sport.
And a very good evening and welcome to Classifieds here on Manx Radio AM. Ben Cunningham in the chair this evening, and I will be joined by Tony Mepham and Dave Christian to talk all things football and rugby, as well as Rob Pritchard. We will get team news from him for FC Isle of Man's game tonight at the Bowl, which kicks off at 6 p.m. But first, we're going to have a look at the classified results in local sport. And we start with football. And in the ECAP FA Cup first round games, Governors Athletic against Foxdale awaiting result. Canada Life Men's Premier League, St John's United 2, Laxey 5, Moran 1, Onken 3, St Mary's 4, Ayr United 1, Russian 2, St George's 1, Union Mills 3, Corinthians 4. Arden and Druggan Division 2, Douglas and District 2, Douglas Royal 5, Colby 2, Douglas High School and Old Boys 2, Michael United 1, Braddon 10, Ramsey Youth Centre and Old Boys 4, Castletown 0, Pulrose against Maloo, home walkover to Pulrose, Maloo unable to field the team. Canada Live Combination 1, Laxey against St John's, awaiting result. Onken 6, Moran 0. Ayr United 3, St Mary's 0. Peel 4, Foxdale 1. Corinthians 5, Union Mills 2. Arden and Druggan Combination 2. Douglas Royal against Douglas and District, match postponed. Douglas High School and Old Boys 0. Colby 4. Jims against Castletown, match postponed. Braddon against Michael, match postponed. In rugby, in Regional 2 Northwest, Northwich 12, Douglas 16. Counties 3, Adients, Lant and Cheshire. Garstan 104, Vagabonds 7. Manx Shield, Western Vikings 10, Ramsey 47. And in the friendlies, we are awaiting results for Southern Nomads against Douglas Casuals and Ramsey under-16s against King under-16s. Hockey, England Women's Tier 2 Knockout Championship Plate. Isle of Man Ladies B 8, Northland 1. Isle of Man Men's B against Garstan, first, awaiting result. In local hockey, in the under-15s league, Backers under-15s 6, Ramsey under-15s 1. So those are your classified results. So I'll get my papers into order and we will say a very good evening to Tony Mepham. Good evening, Tony.
Evening, Ben. Pretty cold, wasn't it, this afternoon? And a bit more to go tonight as well. But one or two interesting scores. And one that we've just had received now, Ben, is that ECAP FA Cup first round 1 that was postponed last week. It was Governors Athletic 1, Foxdale 5. Okay. So now Foxdale go on and play Colby. So
just to clarify that one, the ECAP FA Cup, this match was postponed last week due to unfit pitch, and that's gone the way of Foxdale. They win by 5-1, so they play Colby in the next round.
Correct.
Let's have a look at that game first, as it's top of the list. Foxdale winning that one 5-1.
Yeah, we're just waiting to get some scorers in, but quite comfortable in the end, and just shows you possibly where the difference is in the leagues, because Foxdale, I know they haven't played many league games. They've only played 15, quite a few less than the other teams around them, but they're in 8th place, as were Governors, third from bottom in the Arden and Druggan Limited Division 2. So, yeah, it just shows Premier League strong, and as soon as the scorers come through, we shouldn't be too long, we'll give them a mention.
And we'll just quickly go off the topic of football and just look at hockey. And we have just had word through that the Isle of Man men's B second team have just beaten Garstan by 6-0 in their game in the knockout championship. So we will recap all on that later. Anyhow, let's go back to football. And in Canada Life Men's Premier League, St John's 2, Laxey 5.
Haven't got St John's goal scorers. I'm sure they'll send them through as well. But certainly today the big talking point for Laxey is Ethan Hawley. He's not a very old player. He's 18, something like that. But to score 4 goals in the Premier League takes some doing. And I think he's chasing Eric Hill, who's been scoring plenty of goals for Laxey, 2 hat-tricks and a brace as well in his last 3 games. But Ethan 4 today. So well done, Ethan, on that performance. And Matthew Ogden, and I've got from manager Johnny Palmer, absolute screamer, top bin. For a player of Johnny's calibre, explain it like that just shows it was something special. So thank you to Johnny, thank you to Matty Ogden for scoring that great goal for Laxey, and big 3 points that for Laxey, because now that puts them above Ayr United in the league table now on 34 points and going to 3rd place.
We look at Moran against Oncom. Moran 1, Oncom 3. Yeah,
big result that for Oncom, because Moran were bottom and Oncom were just above them. Well, now Oncom with those 3 points move above St George's. Yes, they've played a game more, but it does look as if it's going to be 2 or 3, which is Geordie's, Oncom or Moran, who will get relegated this season. But today, Oncom's goal scorers, Billy Coulter got 1, Tom O'Neill on the score sheet as well, and Pat Riley got the other goal. Not too sure got Moran's goal.
So if you've got the goal scorer from around 166177, it'd be great to give them a shout out. Not a good day for Ayr United, dropping points again. St Mary's 4, Ayr United 1.
Yeah, definitely. And we've got the scorers just come through for Foxdale. We'll bring you that in a minute. But today, the first half, certainly for St Mary's, was fantastic. They were 4-0 up at half time. 2 goals for Mark Wolfenden, 2 for Carl Clark. Mark Wolfenden's the first one. Well, Joe Berquist did really well down the right hand side. Put it on a plate really for Wolfie, and the ball came across and I had a good view of it, and Mark just opened the left gate and in it went to make it 1-0. But then it was Carl Clark who scored a goal from Sammy Gallen's cross, I think it was, and a little header from him to make it 2. And then the third one was just unbelievable, because to have the cheek of doing it, I spoke to him, Mark Wolfenden, after the game, what was going through your head, and he just said, I saw the space, I saw the keeper off his line, I thought I'll have a go, and from about 35 yards out he received the ball, and it did look as if he was going to play it to the right hand side, but he just looked up and hit it so well, and he's in good form at the moment, Mark Wolfenden, and caught out Nathan Tier, the goalkeeper, to make it 3. But Carl Clark got 1 just before half time, another header from a corner. It was Sam Gallen who took the corner. Ayr United, I've got to say, Ben, in the second period were pretty good, to be fair, compared to the first half, but still didn't create too many chances. St Mary's had a few little chances here and there, but it was a goal towards the end for Jamie Callister, who sort of made them a little bit happier. Again, it was Sean Kelly, as you'd expect, in the middle, and got the ball through to him, and Jamie was there on the back post and managed to slot it past. So Earl will be disappointed, and looking at the league tables, we'll look at that in a minute. I think it's going to be a real struggle to them, because the way the results have gone today, to me, it's a massive advantage to Peel now.
And we'll go to Russian against St George's, and this sounded a really close game. We were getting texts coming through from it. St George's losing out though. Russian 2, St George's 1.
Yeah, and it was St George's who took the lead, and Ed Canner, you'll remember his name from last season. He actually played for Union Mills, I think it was, and then a year before that he played for Russian, so a couple of seasons for Russian. So to score against your old club is always sort of nice, but I'm sure it's done in a friendly manner. But Jamie Cadwallader, who's a bit of a star of the show at the moment for Russian, he's scoring important goals, and I watched him last week against Braddon, and played really well, but he held his nerve from the penalty spot and got the first one for Russian, and then Matty Lamb it was who got the second one. So good result for Russian. Russian keep the pressure on the teams above them, because Russian have played 18 now, but the points tally is 26, so they go ahead of Foxdale in that, and they're just now 3 points behind Union Mills with that good result today.
And we'll talk about Union Mills now, because what a result this is. Union Mills 4, Corinthians 3.
Is, and I'll see if I can bring you up how the goals were scored, and my thanks to Steve Carter for sending this through. And yeah, there was a lot of goals going in, and the first one, let's have a look at it here now. First one, after 11 minutes, it was Dominic McCarry-Brennan, and then the second one was Tyler Hughes 2 minutes later. So within 13 minutes, Union Mills were 2-0 up. Then the third one, I think, was Jack Murray on 20 minutes, so not a good start for Corinthians. And it was Jack Murray who, no, it wasn't. It was Corinthians who pulled one back on 52 minutes. I think that was Connor Clark. And then Jack Murray scored the second of his game to make it 4-1 on 69 minutes. Corinthians pulled one back again. I think it was Connor Clark to make it 4-2. And then Corinthians on 77 minutes, 13 to go. Chester Bell it was who got the third one. But well done to Union Mills. Big result for them. They're not going to get involved, I don't think, in the League Championship. But when people say that once the Railway Cup's done, the teams aren't really bothered in Premier League, I totally disagree with them, because I think every club in any sport wants to finish as high up as they can. And Union Mills at the moment are doing it the right way. They have played a lot more games than the rest of the teams around them. They've only got 3 games left to play now. But credit, when you look at the result against Peel, knocked them out of the Cup. And now I think they've cost Corinthians the chance of winning the league with that result today, 4-3.
Absolutely, like you say, knocking out a big name last weekend and then potentially ruining another big name's title hopes this weekend. So absolutely. Let's look at Arden and Drugan Division 2, Douglas and District 2, Douglas and Royal 5.
Yeah, I haven't got Douglas Royal's goal scorers.
I've just had them in.
Excellent. Go ahead.
Kean Lane, Bailey Ashton, Craig Cowell, Jordan Cowell, and a massive own goal.
Right, no one owning up to the old goal, no?
Just says a massive own goal in big capital letters.
Right, well, I think also for Douglas and District was Carl Clark, I think it was, and an own goal. So at least they shared it around, didn't they, to make them pay. But yeah, Douglas Royal in good form at the moment. And when you look at those goal scorers, Craig Cowan won, Jordan Cowan as well. It's been a good day for Douglas Royal. Unfortunately, it couldn't field to Comby, but they got the first team out and 3 points on the board for them.
Absolutely. Let's go to Colby against Douglas High School and Old Boys. 4 goals, 2-2.
Yeah, it was 2-2, and Jacob Stones, I think it was, got the first one for Douglas High School Old Boys. Then he had a penalty, so he had a good chance to get a second. Missed the penalty, but then he made good work of it later on when he got a second of the game. Jared Shepherd got the 2 goals for Colby. That's a new name to me. Big difficulty for Colby was to deal with losing a player in the first half, the red card, and it was one of them. I think it was handball, and the referee, gave the player a red card. Some say the decision was a bit harsh, but, it is what it is. But I think it was Tom Walton who possibly may have handled it, but the referee saw it was a red card. And when you look at that now on the league table, you've got Braddon there, who have got 38 points now. You've got Old Boys on 30, and you've got Colby on 29, and Ramsey Youth Centre are in there as well on 32. There's a right little race getting on there for the Paul Henry spots. I think in the driving seat are definitely Braddon, because they're scoring plenty of goals, but today, Colby, Old Boys, where they need a win, either of them, it didn't happen in Ponchhead.
We've just had an update come in from the Douglas and District, Douglas Royal. Bailey Ashton's screamer of a free kick. Keeper didn't want to take it as an own goal.
That's good. I'll take that for Bailey, because Bailey's a relation of mine. So I'm not going to take that away from him, because I don't want Richie coming after me. So we'll give Bailey 2.
Absolutely. Michael United against Braddon. Michael 1, Braddon 10.
Yeah, and I haven't got Michael's goal scorer, but Liam Kane, playing against his old club, scored 4. He's a good goal scorer, Liam. You got Dan Conrad, well done Dan, he got 3. Mark O'Neill, we've got Charlie Knight got 1. Michael Hutton with a rare game back in. He's not particularly old, he's 28, 29, but he's been absent for a while, but he's done well today. Whether he's been playing in the combi, came in and got 1 for Braddon, so that's a big help for Braddon's goal difference, because that puts them on 54, I think it is now, as where you look at Old Boys and Ramsey Youth Centre and not so much Colby, but certainly the other two way down the pecking order. So that's like an extra point for them.
Ramsey Youth Centre and Old Boys 4, Castletown 0. Ramsey Youth Centre and Old Boys back to winning ways after nearly knocking out Ramsey last weekend. Yeah,
and it's a big result that for Ramsey Youth Centre as well, and it just shows you where they are. They've played 16 games now and they play 20 in this league. 32 points they're on. Bit of a kick in the teeth really for Castletown, and I know I've had one or two sort of comments from Castletown. There's not a lot you can do because this game was rearranged. And rearranged fixtures come in. You can't preempt that you're not going to have a game. But Ramsey Youth Centre, it was tight at half time. It was only 1-0, Ben. But 4-0, as you say, at the end. Ross Crawford with one. Leighton Ballard got a goal as well. Harry Grant and Jamie Brew got the other.
Pulrose United against Maloo. That was awarded to Pulrose. Maloo unable to field a team in that one.
Maloo couldn't field a team,
Yep. Okay, so Canada Live Combination 1. Laxey against St John's. We were looking for the score.
Yeah, still not got it, no.
Still not got the score. So if you have that score, 166-177, it'll be really good. Onken against Marown. Onken 6, Marown 0.
Good result for Onken because, with Russian and Ramsey breathing down their necks, they need to do something about it. And that result today, those 6 goals, puts them top of the table. It was Lewis Dawson with 1. Tom Lancaster got a couple of goals. George Reft Butler got 2 as well. And Josh Brookbank got a goal as well. So that was 6-0 to Onken. A nice little note on here. Nick Cowell was absolutely superb in the middle refereeing, so well done to Nick. He's a newish referee to the system, and vastly sort of improving and making a name for himself as a really good official. Well done, Nick.
And it's great when the officials do get the praise, because these people give up their time to allow these games to happen, and it's without them it won't happen.
No, it isn't. And Nick's heavily involved in Manx football, and he saw the numbers a bit light, and he'd done his referee's course, so he's come in, and I think it helps Ben as well, being an ex-footballer of quality. He knows the game, he knows the little stunts that they play, and he's one of those referees as well that lets the game flow, and once you get used to those sort of referees, you know what's happened. But great report, and let's see him in the Premiership shortly.
Absolutely. We've just had a message come in. Lee Gale with a wonderful free kick straight into St Ninian's Church. Welcome back, big fella.
That's not from Lee Gale, then.
It's from texter ending 538, so that's your guess from me.
Well, I've got the scorers here if you want them. Thanks, Alan, for putting them through. And the goal scorers for Foxdale in that 5-1 win against Ramsey Youth Centre was Lee Gale, Jay Chatwood, Liam Cannon, Dean Bettridge got 1, and Phil Santos got the other. So, he's only been back for 2 games, Lee Gale, and got a goal apiece in each.
Absolutely. Better day for Ayr United in this division against St Mary's. 3-0 winners.
Yeah, it was, and that's a surprise to me, because I just thought when you look at Ayr 7th and when you look at St Mary's 5th, quite a few points difference. So I just thought to myself, St Mary should win this, but I think they were down on numbers, because I noticed the first team only had 2 substitutes, but I haven't got Ayr scorers.
We've just had from Combination 1 a score in, and that's from Laxey against St John's. That has finished Laxey 1, St John's 7. I'm just having a look here. Any scorers? No, we've just had that score through. So Laxey 1, St John's 7 in that game.
Thank you.
Peel against Foxdale. Peel 4, Foxdale 1.
Well done, Peel. And I'll probably never hear the end of it on Monday at work, because George Taylor scored. I work with his dad, and he tells me how good he is, and I've got to say he has got a sweet left peg on him, so he got 1. So well done, George. Toby Little on the score sheet, Aaron Castaigne and Oscar Bignell with an outing today for the combination. Steve Jelly scored an own goal for Foxdale, but it didn't affect things. Nice little note on this one, Ben, and you'll like this, because anyone who's played for a club, continuous club for a long, long time, deserves any honour that's bestowed on them when a special milestone comes along. And that's what's happened today for Daniel Lace, who started playing for Peel in 1993. Today was his 900th game, and anyone that knows Daniel Lace, there's still plenty of legs in him yet to get up to that 1,000 mark. 674 games in the first team and 172 goals scored. And I've probably seen quite a few of them. So well done, Lacey. Whatever happens tonight, if you're having a few beers, enjoy the night. Absolute star. It's an honour to have watched you play and keep playing, because he really is a trusted defender, player, island player, everything. I've seen him score so many important goals, and nice touch, 900 games today for Peel.
Wow, what an achievement. Congratulations there. We've just heard from this text come in. Many thanks for it. Max Smith was the goal scorer for Laxey in that game. We just had the score in for that one. Corinthians 5, Union Mills 2.
And it was Oscar Watterson with one. Archie Walter got a goal as well. Caleb Hugill, Lewis Radcliffe and Ryan Nelson. Some good young players' names in there. 5-2 it was. Haven't got Union Mills goal scorers.
And another text that's just come in from that Laxey St John's game. Really nice message here. 4 16-year-olds, 4 17-year-olds all playing in this game today. Did well. St John's were just physically too strong for them on the day.
Yeah, St John's have got a good combination side, so unfortunately when you come across them, you know you're going to have a game and a half. But that's what Laxey and other clubs, you see Corinthians at the moment and Onken, they develop young players really well. And it's just nice to see them stay with the club and get into the first team and the combi. Laxey have got an awful lot of under-18s in the first team at the moment. I would say probably 6 or 7. So credit to all the coaches in the camp.
Absolutely. Let's look at Arden and Druggan combination 2. We'll start with the 3 postponements, as there was only one game that happened in this league. So Douglas Royal against Douglas and District was postponed. Jims against Castletown postponed. And Braddon against Michael United postponed. I'm guessing pitches?
No. It was... let's look at Douglas Royal against D&D. Douglas Royal couldn't field the team. Jims against Castletown. Castletown couldn't field the team. And Braddon against Michael. Michael United couldn't field the team. So all those games will be awarded to the opposition, unfortunately. But it's just one of those, again, things. Jims have struggled a little bit. Michael have struggled. We know what the reason for that is. And Douglas Royal over the last couple of weeks have struggled to get a team out. And they struggled at the start of the season as well.
Okay, and we'll look at the game that did happen in this division. And that was Douglas High School and Old Boys 0, Colby 4.
That's a step closer to Colby winning this league, I think, because now they've played 19 for 52 points, and I'll do the calculations tonight, and they can only be a week away from wrapping this up, I think. And Seb Spears got 2, James Galloway got 1, and Sam Wooland, well done Sam, got the other one. And Colby enjoying this run in the combination 2 at the moment, and when you look at it, they've only lost 1 game so far in 19 games. That's pretty impressive.
Absolutely. So that concludes the fixtures from today's local games. We have got a cup draw that we are going to do just after we get team news from Rob Pritchard. But before we go to Rob, your thoughts on FC Alaman's game this weekend? Of course, they got that late win last weekend. Is it going to be the same this weekend?
I hope they don't need a late winner. I hope that they do the job early on. I'd like to see them sort of score, early on, just to sort of settle the nerves a little bit, because it's, something that I think they need. Hopefully there's going to be a good crowd down there who'll just rile the lads on. But in general, they've been playing pretty well, and the league this year, I think, is not as good a quality as last year, I don't think. But FC Isle of Man, if they could put a good run together towards the end of these fixtures, they've got an awful lot of home games after next week, I think it is. It might even start next week. I think there's about 6 on the trot. So it gives the opportunity to go and watch them. But I think Paul Jones has got his team right. And, it's going to be pretty chilly down there. But let's just hope it all clicks together and the goals go in and get the result and the 3 points.
Absolutely. So we're going to head on down to the bowl now and join Rob Pritchard. Now, Rob, Tony wants to know how cold it is down there. Have you got the thermals out?
I've not quite got the thermals out, Ben, but the gloves are on for the second time this season, so that maybe gives you a bit of an indication as to just how chilly it is getting down at the Bowl here. Yes, welcome for the first time this evening to the Bowl Stadium ahead of this NWCFL Premier Division clash between FC Isle of Man and Barnoldswick Town. We can bring you team news now. 2 changes for both teams. For FC Isle of Man, it's Danny Gerrard and Josh Kenyuk dropping out from the win at Glossop North End 7 days ago. Ronan McDonnell and Carl Watson on their way in for FC Isle of Man. The starting 11 for the hosts is as follows. In goal is Adam Killier, and then it's Callum Sherry, Jacob Crook, Alex Maitland, Ronan McDonnell, Steve Whitley, Sam Baines, the captain Sean Doyle, Adam Adebayi, Dean Pennington and Jack McVeigh. The substitutes for FC Isle of Man are Harley Jackson, Charlie Higgins, João Marquez, Tom Creer and Kyle Watson. For Barnoldswick Town dropping out this time around after their win in midweek. That impressive comeback against FC St Helens. Jake Forshaw and Manny Rose don't travel with the squad. Jordan Da Costa and Joseph Camozzi join Steve Pickup's party heading to the Isle of Man. The Barnoldswick Town starting lineup is as follows. In goal is Jack Howard, and then it's Jensen Butterworth, Brandon Barsky, James Ormrod, Morgan Bird, Ellis Walbank, Lewis Farmer, the captain Andrew Hill, William Proctor, Ryan Moore and Oliver Roberts. And the substitutes for Barnoldswick Town, they are Luke Stowe, Ethan Goff, Connor Clark, Joseph Camozzi and Jordan Da Costa. Your referee this evening is Rob Slinger and his assistants are James Cherry and Janine Doyle. Well, you have to go a long way back the last time these two sides met in the reverse fixture earlier this season. Nearly 6 months, in fact, to the 28th of September, where a late smash and grab double from Steve Whitley and Tom Creer helped give FC Isle of Man all 3 points at the Silent Night Stadium. Barnoldswick Town looking for revenge from that, but they come here to the Isle of Man with a good record so far in their visits to Manx shores. They're unbeaten in their 2 visits to the island so far. A 3-3 draw, a thriller between the sides back in September 2022 and last season. An Andrew Hill goal, the captain, rising highest to power home to give the away side all 3 points the last time the two teams met here. For FC Isle of Man, one of the buzzwords this week from manager Paul Jones has been resilience. They had to show a lot of that against Glossop North End in that narrow victory last weekend, and Paul Jones has tasked them not only to be resilient tonight, but for the remainder of the season. 10 of their last 11 games in the campaign are taking place at home. But FC Isle of Man, they've struggled to string a set of consistent results together. Consistency, that's not a buzzword that they've been hearing all too often in the last few weeks. You have to go back to late November, the last time FC Isle of Man secured back-to-back victories. It's been a high-scoring fixture in the last couple of seasons between these two sides. Wonder if we'll get the same entertainment again this evening. We'll be finding out soon enough. In just over half an hour's time is kick-off at 6 p.m. FC Isle of Man versus Barnoldswick Town, live here on Manx Radio AM 1368.
Rob, brilliant. Thank you very much. Just a quick one before we let you go. What's the atmosphere like down there? Is the crowds building as it's getting close to kick-off?
Well, I'm glad to say there seems to be plenty of people looking to try and brave the cold on this Manx winter evening. I do remember this fixture last season. In fact, it was played around a similar time of year. And boy, oh boy, were the conditions worse than tonight. If you had the cold weather, there was the swirling wind and rain that was going on that was practically sleet by the time we got to the 90th minute. It is a marked improvement on the conditions we had last time around. I remember looking to my right and left under this canopied side of the stadium to see people huddling for warmth and shelter. 3 or 4 lines deep behind the seats in front of us just to make sure they could watch the rest of the game. It was a close and cagey affair last time, but as I mentioned just a few moments ago, previous results have dictated this can be a game with a little bit of drama. Interestingly as well, Barnoldswick Town manager Steve Pickup is celebrating his birthday today. He'll be hoping for a present in the form of a good result this time around. He won't want a repeat of the last fixture because during the last fixture, the Barnoldswick Town gaffer was sent off. He got a straight red card with just under 10 minutes remaining. So plenty to come here at the Bowl, Ben.
Absolutely, Rob. You go and keep warm, and we'll catch up with you very late. I'll get my words right. Later on at 6 o'clock.
Manx Radio Sport.
Okay, so Tony, we're not done just yet. We have got a cup draw to do, and I'll hand the reins over to you now.
Yes, if you can, Ben, you're going to do the draw, and it's the Cannon Life Women's FA Cup. These games are going to be played on Sunday the 9th of March, 2 o'clock. Basically, it's the semi-finals because Douglas Royal also in the Women's League, but on entering the FA Cup because, they've had the Floodlit Cup and everything. So there's 4 teams in the hat. You've got the bag there.
I do.
Please make the draw.
No worries. And it's number 2.
Number 2 is Malou.
Against number 3.
And number 3 is Onken.
Number 1.
Number 1 is Corinthians.
against number 4.
And number 4 is Peel. So you've kept the two favourites together, which
made a very
to me
big
is
draw
healthy.
there.
I think it's healthy for football because it means the team that will probably finish 3rd and 4th in the league have got the chance to play in the final. So I think it's great. But Corinthians have got the home tie, and you've got to remember it was only 7 days ago where Corinthians were beaten 2-0 by Peel in the Women's Floodlit Cup 11-a-side. It was Tia Lisi got the first one, and Becky Cole got the second. So I'm pretty certain that Corinthians will be looking for a bit of revenge, but they're a very difficult side. I thought Peel thoroughly deserved it. They played well, they took their chances, and Corinthians just had a quiet day. I know you can say they didn't play since November, I think it was, but no had Peel. But I just think Peel just seemed to switch on quicker and make a real good game of it. So, yeah, great semi-final draw. Well done, Ben. So we'll just go through that again. The first one out of the hat was Malou. We'll have a home game against Onken. And in the other game, it's Corinthians at home against Peel.
Brilliant. And have we got date yet for these fixtures?
Yeah, 9th of March. So it's 2 p.m. kickoff. We'll have plenty of light then. And it has to be finished on the day as well. So if after 90 minutes, so square, extra time, and then into penalties. So I think that second game might just need that.
Absolutely. Well, Tony, we'll let you get going because you've got to get on down to the bowl and join Rob. You've got your fleece and hat and everything ready for this one tonight.
Lot.
You've got the he's got the lot ready. Tony, we'll catch up with you next week. Cheers.
Manx Radio Sport.
Brilliant. So Tony's heading on down to the bowl now, and as we speak, we're going to head on down to Ramsey, and we're going to join Dave Christian, and he's going to give us all the latest on the rugby action today. Good evening, Dave Christian.
Yeah, good evening, and we'll start with Douglas away at Northwich. They were looking for an away win. They were hoping that they were going to pick up maximum points, and they were looking for potentially Widnes to beat Altrincham Kersal. Well, you can wish for a lot, but you don't normally get everything you want, and that's exactly what happened today. First of all, Douglas got their away win. They beat Northwich 16-12. That keeps them in 7th place, however, because Altrincham Kersal beat Widnes. The result does, however, pull Douglas 8 points clear of Widnes in the standings, leaves them in 7th place, and they're still very much in the hunt for a top 5 finish. This afternoon, it was the in-form fullback, Jonty Cope, who bagged Douglas's only try of the afternoon. Scrum half Nathan Robson provided all the other points off the kicking tee with a conversion and 3 penalties. Douglas now have the luxury of a week off, and they meet second place Bowden at Portashee on the 1st of March. Vagabond, however, didn't quite fare so well in Counties 3, ADM, Lancashire and Cheshire. They were away at the league leaders Garstang. It was never going to be easy. The squad's carrying a lot of injuries and missing its influential captain, Daniel Bomwick. Garstang won this afternoon 104 points to 7. They led 64-0 at half-time. Vagabonds weren't helped by a flight delay either. That delayed the kick-off by half an hour. But they'll take this one on the chin as they prepare for an eminently winnable home game against Ashton-under-Lyne next Saturday. Domestically, in the Manx Shield, Ramsey won the points at the Queen Elizabeth II High School this afternoon. They beat Western Vikings 49 points to 10 in the Manx Shield. 2 tries apiece for Ramsey for Adam Dempsey, the captain, Matthew Meakin, Will Millsop and Leo McVicker, who picked up his first 2 tries, or 2 senior tries at least, for the club. Former Western Viking Danny Howard scored Ramsey's 9th and final try, and Will Millsop and Leo McVicker also kicked a conversion each. As everybody seemed to be scoring 2, keeping in line with the policy, Western Viking skipper Ed Knight bagged 2 for his team. And finally, the friendly game at Ballakilya Park, Douglas Casuals beat Southern Nomads 46 points to 7, and kind of underlying their hidden strength, Douglas got a very strong second team down there. They're not turning out regularly. They're playing a fixture maybe once a month. If they can make that a little bit more regular, I'm sure they'll be a force to be reckoned with. No scorers from Douglas this afternoon, but Rob Crane picked up Southern Nomads' only try, with Mark Young converting. It's been a difficult day for Southern Nomads. An announcement from the club earlier this morning announced the sad passing of their player Sammy Ben Batul. Sammy lost a long battle against leukemia. The two teams had a minute's applause for Sammy before the kick-off, and right now they'll be celebrating his life in the style he would have appreciated in the Station Hotel in Port St Mary. Rest easy, Sammy.
Absolutely, and our thoughts are with all the family and that involved in that as well. But Dave, before we let you go, great result for Douglas today, getting that win away off Island.
Yeah, it's always difficult off Island, and Douglas have made a good fist of things. They need to be winning away a little bit more regularly than they have been doing. Today's win, I think, is their third away win of the season, and 3 out of 11 is probably not quite enough to threaten the top guys in the league. I think they'll do a lot better maybe next season. They know they're pretty close to where they want to be to make a real challenge in Regional 2 Northwest. And this afternoon's win at Northwich, they'll be really boosted by that. And I think they might just fancy their chances to upset Bowden in 2 weeks' time. Things are tight at the top end of this league, and every point is a prisoner, and Douglas will be wanting to make sure that Bowden come away from Portishead with as little as they can give. I think Douglas have now only got 4 fixtures left, and they need to win all 4 if they want that top 5 finish. They've got a reasonable good chance of that, but they also have come into Portishead, Firwood, Waterloo, who are top at the moment. So difficult times ahead for Douglas, but the tough games are at home, and that will give them more than a fighting chance.
Absolutely, and for Vagabonds, a tough day at the office, but fingers crossed next time they play, it'll be back to winning ways.
Yeah, I mean, they've got Ashton underlined. Now, Ashton are just above them in the table. The game's at Ballyfletcher next Saturday, I suspect, and I'm only guessing here because I haven't looked ahead to the fixture list, I suspect I'll probably cover that one for Saturday Live. There's not too much between the two teams in the standings. Ashton on 21 points with 3 wins from 14. Vaggers are on 18 points with 3 wins from 15. So there's not that much in between them at all. Ashton probably on paper look to have the better form, the better scoring record and the better defensive record. But this is a trip to Ballyfletcher. Vagabonds are very much at home there. They've won 2 out of the last 3 matches at Ballyfletcher, and the one that they lost was only a couple of points in it. So I think they'll fancy their chances, but they need to get their players rested because there's no respite for them in this league. The way the fixtures are stacked up, they have to play every weekend until the 5th of April. And there's not much room for manoeuvre if anything goes wrong either. So fingers crossed for Vagabonds. Hopefully we'll be there next week for what should be a tight game against Ashton Underline.
Absolutely. And finally, before we let you go, in the friendlies, did we get a result for Ramsey under-16s game?
No, nothing from that yet. I'm waiting for it. Hopefully I'll get it up later on and we can get that onto manxradio.com when Rob does the website write-ups. But no, nothing yet. I am chasing those, so...
We'll let you off, Dave. We'll let you off. Dave, thank you very much, and we'll catch you next week.
Manx Radio Sport.
And finally, we look at the hockey action, and there wasn't any league action happening on the island today, but there was some England Women's Hockey Tier 3 Knockout Championship action on the Isle of Man at the NSC at 12:30 this afternoon, and it was between the Isle of Man Ladies B against Northampton First, and the Isle of Man Ladies B came away with the win. They won by 8-1, with Rachel Middleton getting 2 goals, Emily Middleton, the captain, Morven Smith, Ella Blakemore, Evie Watterson, Rebecca Ormisher, and Lucy Cartwright, all with goals each, giving the Ladies B a fantastic win on home soil, and they will progress into the next round. And as we heard at the start of the programme, the Isle of Man Men's B team, they were in action in the England Hockey Men's Tier 3 Knockout Championship, and they were away at Garstan First Team, and they have come away with a 6-0 win there. George Powell with 2 goals, Kyle Gunyon with 1, Thomas Titslos with 1, Ethan Adams with 1, and John Ferrells all on the score sheet, giving the Isle of Man Men's B team a 6-0 win there, and that means both the Isle of Man Ladies B and the Men's B all progress into the next round of the Tier 3 Knockout Championships. Congratulations to everyone involved. in them teams this weekend, and we will bring that news when the draw is done to you on Manx Radio. Looking ahead to next week, it's back to league action on the island, some big games happening in the league next weekend, and we will bring full coverage of them next weekend on Manx Radio Sport. There was, however, one rearranged game that was played this afternoon in the Under-15s League, and that was between Backers Under-15s and Ramsey Under-15s, and that finished Backers Under-15s 6, Ramsey 1. Grace Evans with 4 and Brian Cartwright with 2 goals, giving Backers that 6-1 win over the Northerners. We will look at all the action taking place next weekend on Friday Sport Preview with Rob Pritchard next weekend.
Manx Radio Sport.
So that just about wraps up things here on Classifieds for this evening, but we are going to leave you, as always, with the headlines. In the ECAP FA Cup first round, Foxdale come up tops with Governors Athletic. They win by 5-1. In Canada Life Men's Premier League wins for Laxey, Onken, St Mary's, Russian United and Union Mills getting a big win over Corinthians. In Division 2, wins for Douglas Royal, Braddon and Ramsey Youth Centre and Old Boys, with Colby and Douglas High School and Old Boys settling for a 2-2 draw. In Combination 1, wins for St John's United, Onken, Ayr United, Peel and Corinthians. And in Combination 2, Douglas High School and Old Boys 0, Colby 4. In Regional 2 Northwest, Douglas win on the road. They win by 16 points to 12. As for Vagabonds, though, in Counties 3, a tough day at the office, losing by 104 to 7. And in the Manx Shield, Ramsey get the best over Western Vikings. They win by 47 points to 10. In hockey, the Isle of Man Ladies B win by 8-1. The Isle of Man Men's B win by 6-0. And finally, in the Under-15s, Backers win by 6-1 over Ramsey. And that concludes Full-Time and Classified for today, the 15th of February. Thank you so much for your company, as always. Big thank you to Tony Mepham and Dave Christian, as always, for their input. They will be back with us next weekend for Full-Time and Classifieds. And don't forget, all the results will be on Manx Radio Sports website following the conclusion of this show. Thank you so much for your company tonight. It's been great to be having so much fun and entertainment with you, talking sport here on Manx Radio AM. We're going to head on down to the bowl now for FC Isle of Man. Your commentating team for FC Isle of Man is Rob Pritchard and Tony Mepham. Thank you very much for your company. Speak to you all again very shortly. Goodbye.
Manx Radio Sport.